The midterm matchups are heating up, and in my home state of North Carolina, a high-stakes competitive Senate race is front and center. It's a key race to watch with the potential to really tip the scales in the upper chamber.
Right. Democrat Cheri Beasley, former Chief Justice of the state's Supreme Court, is facing off with Trump-backed Republican Congressman Ted Budd. If Beasley wins, she would be the first ever black senator to represent North Carolina. NBC News correspondent Antonia Hylton sat down with Beasley for our County to County series. She joins us now. Antonia, so great to be with you. So you spent a day on the campaign trail with Beasley in sort of a rural part of North Carolina. How did that go? What is she campaigning on?
That's right. So we spent a day with her on the road, and she's actually taking a page out of the Obama playbook right now. And her strategy is to be everywhere. Often Democrats in North Carolina have focused on the urban centers. She is going to spend just as much time in rural communities as she is going to be in the big cities. And that's because she's targeting particularly black voters who live in these rural communities who have, after the last couple cycles, often been staying home, feeling like nobody in either party cares about them. She thinks she can get them out there, and that would be her key to win. Take a look.
Hello, family!
Former state Supreme Court Justice Cheri Beasley has to be a different kind of Democrat to win the Senate seat in North Carolina, one that spends as much time in rural counties as they do in urban centers.
Certainly, industry and corporations are coming to North Carolina. They tend to go to Raleigh and Charlotte, but they miss out on the talent in our rural communities.
Beasley lost her last statewide race by just 401 votes, as thousands of registered rural voters of color sat out the 2020 election.
Do politicians come here that often? No. We usually see them in Mecklenburg County.
What do you think is at stake right now?
Well, again, being a rural county, just getting people out to vote.
Beasley is in a competitive race with Republican Congressman Ted Budd, giving her a shot at becoming the first black senator from the Tar Heel state. Her race also seen as one of the Democrats' rare chances to pick up a Senate seat.
With the frustrations that some voters have with the Biden administration over the economy and inflation, has the president hurt your chances here?
You know, I certainly understand why there are people who are frustrated and who are disappointed in what's happening in Washington. They expect more and they deserve more.
Beasley's Republican opponent, meantime, happy to hammer the president.
Every single county is now a border county because of Joe Biden's policies.
And critiquing her judicial record when meeting with police groups.
I've got an opponent right now. She may not admit it. She's going to try to run, deceptively so, as a moderate.
At Beasley's campaign stops in rural counties, it was abortion rights driving the conversation.
It is not a contradiction to, on the one hand, protect fundamental freedoms, and on the other hand, support women who want to have their babies.
Has it angered people? Has it changed some voters' minds?
I think so, because I think people, as far as women, you know, they want to have control and make decisions that's going to benefit their bodies and not to be told what to do.
With less than 3 months until the election, Beasley is betting on rural voters. She needs them, and they need someone who won't forget them once in Washington.
It felt good here today, right? It felt good here in Anson County. It felt good in Richmond County. And no one should feel discounted. No one should feel a sense of disengagement.
We talk about disengagement. What is leading to that? And ultimately, why? Why is Beasley so confident that she can really get those voters engaged? What are they telling you, Antonia, that they ultimately care about?
Well, in these rural communities, people have seen a lot of disinvestment over not just the last couple years, but frankly, decades in North Carolina and around the country. And so as I've spoken to voters there over the last several months, for a while they were telling me, you know, I just don't trust either party. Nothing changes here. There are no jobs, no opportunity, and COVID hit us really hard. But it's interesting. Now the abortion rights conversation is bringing some of the young people who live in these rural communities.
The 20-week ban was just reinstated yesterday.
Exactly.
Okay. And
and that seems to be changing the conversation. At every single one of the spots that I followed Beasley to, the first question from a voter was about abortion.
Okay, where does she stand on it?
Well, she is pro-abortion, and she's sort of trying to draw a distinction between her and her opponent, Ted Budd.
She's a pro-choice.
She is a pro-choice candidate, and she says that she's going to fight for, you know, women's reproductive rights in the Senate.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.